Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at a forum request, and this one was he had multiple tracks of video, and he wanted anything that was covered by an upper track to be removed from the lower tracks. So let's take a look at the project that I'm testing with, and then we'll see how we can do this particular task. This is the project I decided to test with, and basically what he wants to do is, like here on track 1, we want to remove everything that's on tracks 2 and 3 and 4 in this section. Then as we can continue processing through the tracks, then for this section we want to remove everything that's under track 2 in this section. And then continuing on, we want to remove everything that's under track 3 under this section. Anytime there's anything on an upper track, it takes precedence. So in this particular case, this part will keep. This little bitty section right here would be kept on track 2. This section would be kept on track 2. And then this section would be kept on track 3. And this section will be kept on track 4. And everything else will be removed. So let's see how we would do that. Here's the script we're going to use. Here's all the stuff at the top. All this stuff is all the same that we always do. And then I'm going to go for each track, my track, in myvegas.project.tracks, if the track is a video track. Remember, we're only dealing with video here, so we need to make sure that we're looking only at video tracks. Then for each track event on that track, I want to remove whatever is below it. So I created me a separate subroutine called remove selection below, and I'm passing it the event, which will tell me where that event is, and then I'm passing it the track index for the current track that I'm working on. That way I can look at only the tracks below this track. If we go back to the project and look at track 1, the first thing I'm going to do is go through and find this event, and then I'm going to remove everything that's underneath this event. Then I'm going to get this event and remove everything that's underneath this event. And then I'm going to get this event and remove everything that's underneath this one. So let's look at the remove selection below subroutine, and we're passing it a track event and the current index of the track that we're looking at. So the first thing I did was set me up a couple of time codes, which is the area start, which I got from event.start, and the area end, which I got from event.end. So by passing it the event, we can get the area start and the area end positions. Then I need to go through the tracks. To do this, I am using a for loop, and I set me up an integer. I equals the current index plus 1. So take the current track plus 1, and that's the first track I want to look at. And then as long as I is less than myvegas.project.tracks.count, I'm going to do an I++ to increment to the next track. So then I get this track equals myvegas.project.tracks, and I want the ith track. So we put the I in the square brackets here. Then once again, we're only looking at video tracks. So if this track is video, then we're going to go through and look at the various events on this track. Now here's the interesting thing. We're using a for loop for this instead of a for each. I don't want to do for each event on this track because I am going to have to be splitting events. I'm going to have to be removing events. I'm going to have to be doing things that change the count of events. I don't want to go through the events forward, or the loop will get all messed up. So what we want to do is go through the events backwards. So for integer j, because I used I up here, so I'm just using I, j, k. So for integer j equals this track.events.count minus 1. Remember, all of our events and tracks are 0 based. While j is greater than or equal to 0, while I still have events to look at, and then j minus minus to move to the previous event. Then I set me up another variable here, which I called under area. I named it that because I was anticipating on this being the area that's under the event that I'm wanting to remove. So this is in that area that I want to remove. Then I get my track event, which I just called T event, equals this track.events, and I want the jth event. Now here's where we get interesting. First of all, I need to see, do I need to split this? So I've got a couple of conditions I want to check first. If TEvent.start equals area.start. So if we look back here, where my cursor is right here, if these two are equal, then I do not need to actually split this bottom event because there's nothing to the left to split. So I don't do a split here. So that's the first case. If these two are equal, or my TEvent.start is less than the area end, and my TEvent.end is greater than or equal to the area end. And we've got a case of that on the timeline as well, right here. When I'm looking at this event right here, this event right here starts before this event end, and it ends greater than or equal to this end. Same thing with this event. If we're looking at this event, this one starts before the end, not before the beginning, but before the end, and this one ends after the end of this event. So if either of those cases are true, I'm going to say my under area equals T event because that is the part that's under the area, or at least it starts under the area. Now, let's take the third option. If TEvent.start is less than area start and TEvent.end is greater than or equal to area start. So we come back here and we'll just look at this one right here. TEvent, this event right here, .start, is less than this start, and TEvent.end is greater than this position. So this one does go across the beginning of that event. So in this case, I have to split it at the beginning of the event that I'm looking at. My under area is going to be TEvent.split, and then my split point is going to be the area start minus the TEvent.start. So looking back over here, we're telling it to split right here, which is the area start minus the TEvent.start, which is the offset that gets us to this point right here. And then this part to the right, if we do the split here, this part will be under area, this part will be T-event. So then, if my under area is not equal to null, then I'm going to set my T-event equal to the under area because I've either split it or I've set it. In this particular case, if I did under area equals T-event and I do T-event equals under area, I've just set it back to itself. But either way, as long as my under area is not null, it is under this event. And so now I'm getting my T-event equals the under area. If the T-event.start is less than the area end and the T-event.end is greater than the area end, coming back over here, if the event.start is less than the end and the ending point is greater than the end, then we're going to split again. So we're going to have to split it right here again, and then this will be under area and this will be T-event. So even though our variable names aren't necessarily following what I had originally intended them to be, this will now be under area and this will be T-event. So we did this under area equals T-event.split, and the area end minus T-event.start is the offset position. So then, after all of that, if the under area is not equal null, then we are going to remove T-event. So if this is under area and this is T-event, what we're going to do is actually delete that part. And then that's the end of that routine. We can come on down. You can see the public entry point with all the information about Vegas there and calling the class and getting everything running. So let's see how this works. So I've reset this back to where it was before, and we'll run the script. And now everything that was under a different event is now gone. And so you can see this is the after. Let's go back to the before. So everything that was covered by another event is removed. So now you can see how we can go through each track and look only at the video tracks and remove any video events that are under a different video event, and look at only the sections that are actually used at the tracks above. And this will let us go through each of the tracks below and remove anything that would not be seen normally. So I hope you like this tutorial. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.